Imagine if you could always focus when you study, instead of having to force yourself when you're tired and when you can't concentrate. I'm Salim, I'm a med student, and I've also done an undergrad and postgraduate degree. And over my 7 years at uni, I figured out how to maximize my study sessions even when I'm tired, so that I still have time for more of the things I care about. So I'll go over the 3 strategies of the Reawaken method, and at least one of the strategies is going to help, so stick around until the end. So the first strategy of this method has 3 parts to it, and the third part is something that top 1% students do. And to start, I have a question. Do you easily get distracted when you study, but still force yourself to study even with this bad focus? The problem when you're tired is that you fall into this cycle of feeding into those distractions, telling yourself that you'll study for the rest of the day to make up. But you know that doing this keeps you feeling tired and only ends up as an unproductive study session. So there's 2 things you need to do. The first is to apply Parkinson's law, where instead of focusing on when you start studying, set a deadline in the day for when to stop. And the second thing is to give yourself time for active rest before you start studying, and again after the deadline. For me, after a full day at med school, my first active rest would be going to the gym, then setting a deadline to get a specific amount of studying done by 10 PM, with a second active rest after that, where I play the piano or even just watch TV. This works because instead of focusing on time, you focus on energy, since you'll avoid studying when your energy is low right after school or uni, because you won't even be productive. Studies found this time pressure to be one of the best ways to getting things done, and having time scheduled for active rest recharges your energy between different study sessions, so that you don't fall into the trap of feeding into your tiredness and getting distracted. So that's the first part of the first strategy of this method. And for the next part, I have another question. Do you believe that the amount of work you give yourself is realistic? Because I've noticed how a lot of students overcomplicate things, thinking that they have to do their assignment, their homework, and study for 5 hours all in one day. But how many times have you actually done this? Probably not much, but you still made it this far. So instead of piling things up and making yourself tired, there's 2 things you should do. The first is to create a realistic to-do list for the whole week. And for each thing you need to do, ask yourself, what's the worst thing that could happen if you push it for later and prioritize something else instead? When I've tried this, I realized that a lot of things aren't that urgent. For example, the other week, I was meant to do some pre-reading for my online GP placement, but this would have taken me at least 4 hours to do, and I had other things to do, like study for a mock exam. But I realized not doing the pre-reading would mean I'd be a little bit lost at the start of the session and not answer things correctly, but that's about it. So I decided not to do the pre-reading and use that time to study for my mock, and it ended up okay. And the second thing you need to realize is that the energy you need for a task might be more than the energy you have, and that's because you're looking at the task as one big thing. But life is flexible. You don't have to get something done all in one go. So what you should do is set small, achievable tasks. If you don't have the energy to do 100 practice questions, do 5. Or if you can't finish your whole assignment, write 100 words. Doing something, no matter how small, is still better than doing nothing. And these 2 points focus on being realistic with what you can do, instead of setting unrealistic standards and then acting surprised when you're tired or overworked. Now for the third and final part of the first strategy, I have a third question. When you're going to or coming back from school or uni, what do you do? Because the top 1% students make sure to maximize their time. Whenever I have downtime, whether that's on the train or at the gym between workout sets, I study on my phone, and I do this without fail. Those minutes might not seem significant, but they add up. And more importantly, it keeps your mind engaged at times where you'd otherwise daydream and start to feel more tired. This is something that anyone can do, because I'm not asking you to wake up earlier or sleep later. I'm asking you to maximize the time where you're doing nothing. And before I get to the second strategy of this method, one thing I've done for over 100 days to get my brain engaged and start off my study sessions is use our quick sponsor of the video, Brilliant, the best online learning platform where you learn by doing, with thousands of interactive lessons in maths, data analysis, programming, and AI. I know a lot of you have exams soon, and Brilliant is one of the best ways to build your critical thinking skills through problem solving, so that you'll become a better thinker that can get those difficult exam questions right. And it helps that Brilliant has a hands-on problem solving approach to learning, where you can play with the concepts, because this method has been proven to be 6 times more effective than just watching lecture videos. And you can trust the content on Brilliant to be made for learning, because it's all created by award-winning teachers and researchers from MIT, Caltech, Microsoft, and more. And especially helpful for STEM subjects is some of the new content in data, because even if you're new to stats or have a strong understanding of data analysis, there's lessons for any skill level. And like your exams, it uses real data such as from Spotify, Twitter, and more, with an interactive approach, so that you can learn how to analyze datasets and become better at interpreting information. This is a small glimpse to what Brilliant has to offer. So to try everything free for full 30 days, visit brilliant.org/Salim Ahmed or click the link in the description. You'll also get get 20% off an annual premium subscription. Now the second strategy of this method also has 3 main parts. And for the first part, I'll be honest, if you're at school or uni for a full day and feel that you still need to study a lot when you get home, then you're doing something wrong. Because throughout my school, my undergrad and postgraduate degrees, and even now at med school, the only times I felt that I had to study all day after a full day at uni was when I knew I wasted time at uni. And usually that's because I didn't spend my time in lectures effectively. For example, I remember how I used to take notes on everything a professor said in my lecture, but because I was so focused on writing things down, I'd then have to spend more time after to understand and organize it. But when I instead chose to just sit and listen, or even sometimes do unrelated work in the lecture, I'd end up being more productive and no longer have to spend all evening studying more. So if you're not learning much at school or uni, change your approach to learning. This could be taking an active effort to maintain focus when you're sitting in your lesson by answering questions. Or if your teacher isn't doing a good job of teaching, use that time to study something else. These are hours of your day you don't want to waste not learning anything, only to then feel tired when you get home. Now the second part of this strategy is realizing that a lot of the time it's the thought of doing work that makes you feel tired, as opposed to you being physically tired or burnt out. And I like comparing it to going to the gym. The hard part of exercising is getting started and building the habit of going there consistently so that you can see the results. But once you get going, it only gets easier. So to build this tolerance against feeling tired after school or uni, you need to build your discipline. And that's by studying, especially when you don't want to. But you might be thinking, how can you force discipline if you've got no discipline? So just as how at the gym you progressively increase the weights you lift, you need to progressively increase how long you study for when you have this mental resistance to studying. And I'm not asking you to make yourself study for 10 hours. Instead, apply the 5-minute rule where you just spend 5 minutes to study when you feel tired. And if you can get yourself to do more, push through and keep it going. Keep track of when you stop so that when it's the next time you're feeling tired and have to study, you have a target to reach. This isn't just about making it a game. It's about creating a habit of studying when you feel like you're tired so that it becomes natural to you. Because eventually, this form of feeling tired won't happen as much and you'll be able to keep it going. And if you want longer study sessions for when you're tired, it helps to have accountability by studying with a friend or going to the library. Because on average, you're more likely to waste time at home since no one is around to catch you getting distracted and force you to study. But in a library or coffee shop, you're more conscious of your surroundings and what other people are doing, and seeing everyone else work helps you do the same regardless of how much initial resistance you feel. Now the third and final strategy of this method has 2 parts, and it's about human biology. And as I'm sure you already know, one of the biggest things that makes you feel tired is a bad sleep routine. But this isn't about making sure to sleep 7, 8 or 9 hours a day, because the best thing you can do right now is making sure to sleep at the same time every day, and more importantly, wake up at the same time. The idea is, as you keep waking up at the same time in the morning, you start feeling sleepy at a regular time at night, and that makes your bedtime fall in place to how much sleep your body needs. For example, my sleep schedule was pretty bad before because even though I'd get 8 hours of sleep, I'd get into bed or wake up at awkward hours. But just after a week of waking up for 7 AM, I started to naturally feel tired at around 11:30 PM. And I also got better quality sleep so that I didn't wake up feeling tired or feel randomly sleepy at 5 PM. So listen to your body to have this healthy circadian rhythm. But now you could have tried every tip and still find that you're tired after school or uni. And that could be because of 2 surprisingly common things. The first could be because of your food. Like whenever I had a lot of carbs for lunch, I'd almost always feel sleepy after. But immediately after dropping the amount of carbs I had for lunch, I stopped getting this tiredness. So if you have a lot of carbs for lunch, try doing the same. The second reason for why you're tired all the time no matter what you try might be because you have anemia, since that's relatively common. So maybe you need a blood test to see if you have low iron or something else so that you can get some supplements to help manage your symptoms. So managing tiredness after school or uni can maximize your study sessions so that you can still get the rest you need. But something I don't see many students do that can very easily boost study productivity is using AI to make studying more efficient. So in this video here, I talk about how you can use AI to study 10 times faster from today with some very simple steps. So click the video to learn more.